Let's take stock of some notable meteorological and agricultural events from the last few months. By the way, what you're seeing here really isn't that weird, right? Just snow. Except it's from yesterday in Hobart, Tasmania, where it's the hot times of summer in the southern hemisphere. That's always fun. Anyway, the growers in Polk County, Florida have endured record cold recently and yet have managed to fare better than some water mains as far south as Tampa. That again, if we're going to be talking about water main breaks this winter, the Maryland suburbs near DC are seeing a record number of them. They are likely to have a few more coming in the next few weeks, but before we see why, let's take a peek at a few stories in the drought zone, starting with Africa. Zambia has lost 36% of their maize crop beyond recovery due to the dryness. Maize is indeed their major staple crop in Zambia. This is due to a shifting rainbelt pattern at the far western end of it, that is. It is certainly one of the expected shifts to see as the sun loses control over the upper level jets during minima of activity. A separate dryness pattern expected to set into North America during that solar activity has already reared up with a major expansion of the drought zone coverage and intensity over just the last season and a half. The lack of snow in some areas is already going to be a problem, and they really need that precipitation to come back in the coming weeks so they can kick off spring properly for the wheat crop. There is one area that isn't short on snowpack around here, and that's the northeast United States. Erie, in particular, is about to break their record snowfall for the winter season, which is no small feat. This is especially likely with the latest forecast for the month from the Weather Channel. I've never actually seen them go beyond purple into magenta on the cold side of things. Probably not a good sign. This is also not likely to end but a slice of the now widespread precipitation deficit in the country. By the way, this forecast is borne out by seeing the polar vortex refusing to leave the United States alone for very long at all this winter, and as we come down a level to the jet stream on the 72-hour outlook, that trough bringing colder air south is going to settle in and square up the Weather Channel's forecast with reality quite nicely. Let's note one more story out of India, near the eastern side of that same pattern I mentioned earlier. The monsoonal flows dictate the life in this region, and no rainfall has hit the northern part of the country, while the southern portion has seen a whole 5% of its expected January precipitation. The last time the sun did what scientists expected to do this century, India suffered two separate million-death famines, both due to drought. Eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everyone.